Reddit by Reddit and chill. What's a fetish that you just don't understand? I write porn for a living. And I really wish I could get the appeal because, as I understand it, it's kind of a goldmine if you've got the talent. But I've never been figure out furries, or, more specifically, the fursuit kind of furries. You do you. Of course. But it seems to require a level of sincerity that I just can't muster up. I've never been big on the idea of roleplay in general. You be the nurse, I'll be the matador, but while I can sort of see the reasoning behind I'd like to duck that sexy half-wolf looking dude. Being ducked by a dude wearing a mascot costume and howling at the moon is beyond my personal comprehension. They probably don't see the mascot costume. They see the hyper-realistic drawing in their head. Bug chasing actor HIV fetish and dinosaur fetish. That just sounds like suicide with extra steps. Prolapse porn. It's doing actual damage to someone's body. It's literally like fetishizing cauliflower ears or a leg deformed by arthritis. Thanks, I came to this thread hoping for something I hadn't heard of before. Something so horrible it'd make me gasp out loud. And you provided it. I have no intention of googling prolapse porn. Ever. Anything involving poop. I don't understand. Their love of the turd. To me it's so bland. And sort of absurd. Dripping and plopping. And dropping their load. A moist chest topping. Their love had bestowed. A trophy pure brown. A sight to behold. Ah duck it I'm sold. Scat. Skibby dubby dubby da dub dub yo da dub dub skibby dubby dubby da dub dub yo da dub dub. I once went to a BDSM club to see what it was all about. Had a lady ask me if she could stick hypodermic needles into my testicles. I told her no thank you. She said that's okay. Someone else will let her. I do not understand this. Your first sentence makes me imagine someone dressed in t-shirt and jeans walking into a club full of gimps and doms. Dom. May I help you? You. Nah, I'm just browsing. Wanting a lady in heels to stomp on your pills. Pretty sure this one is just extreme masochism. Pain is actual pleasure to these guys. They just take it to an extreme. You can probably add choking as a similar fetish where the risk is actually part of the appeal. People die from it all the time but people still chase that high and the danger actually adds to the experience, supposedly. People who like having their body pierced by large needles and then suspended in the air by said needles. I mean, no kink shaming or anything. But I really don't know or understand what someone might get out of that. Other than the pain being a turn on. Suspension is generally not a kink fetish thing. Think of it as more like an extreme sport or type of performance art. People generally do it for the endorphins, adrenaline and freedom it brings. Pain and injury is generally minimized as much as possible. If you want that sort of thing then you'll find suspension very disappointing. Grown adults putting on diapers and being treated like babies by other grown adults. I dated a guy who was into this. Pacifiers too. It was really weird and once I found out about it, our sex life tanked. He was a real sweetheart too. Just had a really weird fetish I couldn't deal with. Vor. Like the eating someone whole one. Hey. I have a recent comment explaining it. Reddit.com /the monkeys poor comments DQZZWD I wish I could please my wife sexually F6E40E. Diaper furries. I don't get either part of that. Much less the combination of the two. Crush videos. Don't look it up, it's awful. It's basically people in high heels stomping on and through baby animals such as cats or rabbits. Only sick humans can find that arousing. This got to me. Nothing else on here really made me feel bad but this did. Genital mutilation. I'm not clicking that. Cars. It's a psychological thing. It's because for some people, they're in their car. They feel safest of all. They can lock all their doors. It's the only way for them to live. In cars. I believe that started on Reddit as a joke but I could be wrong. Remember the following rules of the internet. Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn of it. No exceptions. Rule 35. If there is no porn of it, porn will be made of it. Rule 36. No matter what it is somebody's fetish. Rule 37. No matter how ducked up it is, there is always worse than what you just saw. Armpit. Seems pretty obvious to me. Some people's libidos are more olfactory in nature, and there's fewer better suited places to get a full dose of someone than their armpit. Cake farting. How the hell does someone even got off to someone farting on a cake? I thought this was just made up in Better Call Saul. Yoshikage Kira's hand fetish. Hey man. Blame it on Da Vinci. Gore. Like why would people even like that kind of stuff? Al Gore? Gore. Anything concerning animals including furries. Pedophilia. It's not necessarily a fetish but still. Insect crushing. Dirty socks. Just to name something that has not been named yet. A lot of fetishes I'm absolutely not into. I at least understand the appeal. But dirty socks, just why? I think there's a period fetish. That's pretty weird to me. Poo and pee kink. Inflation. Especially the blueberry girl kind. Weird that there is almost never any actual sex in those scenarios. She gets big and round and rolls around. That's it. Ball squeezing. Like that shit must hurt a lot. You know, having looked through this thread, it at least involves genitals. Incest porn. Most incest stuff isn't fantasized about from the perspective of an actual family member. Often in their mind it's someone attractive. And then it's a taboo. Honestly, I know anal is all the rage. But I, a dude, just can't get behind it. I don't think my dong will ever respond to a hole where poop comes from. What if it's your ass receiving a sensual pounding? My desire to watch my wife have sex with another man. Although it makes me horny thinking about it. I'd never actually do it. So you never watch then? Just go out. Take a stroll or something? The sister porn. My guess is a combination of two things. Taboo. You tell someone that something is wrong and that makes it more attractive to some people. And plot. No. Not that plot. Actual plot. I've seen some of this family. Step family. etc porn, and one thing I noticed is a lot of it has some sort of actual lead up. Because of point 1. I guess the director has to come up with some kind of reason they're ducking. Even if it's just they're horny, there's still a foreplay seduction part from one of them. Combine with POV and it's easier to put yourself in the video, I guess, for lack of a better term. Anything involving bodily stuff. Scat. Piss. Farts. Snot. Spit on. Diapers as well. But recently I found a large number of people who get aroused by the idea of dying, not implied dying. Not choosing it to be fatal or not, but actual specifically noted death, by being turned into a gold silver mineral statue. Forever. Like Medusa. But, as a dark curse instead. Most characters they have petrified are overly giant tit girls with dongs. Petrified by standing on a statue hand or being cursed. They tag it as mineralization. Yup. Gyro. Foot. I'm more of a beta kind of guy. People who are attracted to amputees. It's one thing if you are in a relationship for a long time with someone or married to them and they lose a body part due to an accident or had to get it removed because of an infection, but people who are attracted to someone because they are missing a body part just seems kind of weird and honestly a little bit sickening to me. And throwing things like jets and tanks. Porn? Other people have already mentioned this. But scat. Mainly because there's a very good reason we have a natural aversion to it. The stuff can very easily give you an infection and those infections can be deadly. At least with other fetishes I can understand how people act upon them. I honestly have zero clue how scat fetishists indulge in it without getting violently ill. Ladder. Yes, it's a thing. I've never heard of that one. People wanting to be used as furniture. Anything that involves poop. Getting pissed on. Okay, I legit made an all just for this. I'm like a kink enigma where parts of the kink are extremely hot and others gross me out. Like, consensually, watching my partner pee is hot as duck. Like she could just sit on the toilet as she always does and that'd do it for me. I'm also big into amourashi or desperation play. So I like seeing girls hold it and struggle to hold it and eventually wet themselves. Clothed or nude doesn't really bother me. Yet despite this I find the idea of pissing on someone being pissed on gross. Drinking piss is gross. I don't like those videos where women are taped without knowing it. I'm also grossed out by videos where women deliberately wet the bed or piss on carpeted floors or fabric. For someone whose fetish is literally watching women void liquid waste from their bodies, I'm a surprisingly big neat freak when it comes to doing it. I'll never understand rape fetishes. I just don't get how it's a turn on for people. It straight up makes me flaccid if my partner isn't having a good time. I guess I can understand the power dynamic. But you can do that without raping someone you know? I speak from experience, a rape fetish isn't about actually wanting to be raped. Think of the fantasy as a type of roleplay. It's more about being helpless and giving up power. Wanting to be dominated in a very primal way. Letting a girl fart in a bag and sniffing it. That whole diaper play thing. Feederism fetish. Where people, typically men, get off on having a morbidly obese partner and overfeeding them so they get fatter. I can usually see the appeal of any fetish. But one guy I met had a thing for dental extraction. He derived a lot of pleasure from seeing teeth being ripped out, in a professional, accidental or malicious context. He wasn't really into anything crazy otherwise. And it wasn't the violence or gore that got him off. Don't think I'll ever be able to wrap my head around that one. Mirrors. Whenever I look at one I'm instantly turned off. I don't know if it has a catchy name. But people who want to bang through stomas, surgically created openings into the body to drain stuff in or out. Like with colostomy bags. Not only do I imagine this to be very uncomfortable, but I have read tales of people contracting STDs in their stomas. Duck and yikes. Pregnancy fetishes. Like. That shit's a horrific ordeal. Why would you want to sexualize something so innocent yet so awful? I think it's just because of natural human evolution that there are people who end up attracted to the whole pregnancy thing. Honestly. Futanary, also known as dongjiro. I have got several questions but I don't think that I want to know the answers. Ducking, like and subscribe.